For example, you read the paragraphs given by the Tibetan master under the heading the art of breathing. So the first syllable, and then it is divided into three syllables. Bhu means and creator. Bhuvaha means existence or poison. Swaha means pralaya or dissolution. This represents intelligence. The second one represents wisdom. The third represents sleep and awakening. That is, sleep of the individual and the awakening of the background lord when we sleep in him. That is what is called pralaya. Similarly, a solar system sleeps in him while he is aware. That is what is called pralaya. This gives you the formula of mind, energy, and form. That is matter. So you have the consciousness, energy, and matter. They are called the three utterances of creation. So this is uttered in the beginning of Gayatri whenever we have to utter Gayatri. But this is not Gayatri. The next mantram which we are going to understand is Gayatri. This is uttered daily, I think you have heard. Like this. Om.
Und es klingt so.
That is how we are uttering. So this is called the first triangle of creation before the seven planes of existence came. The first three steps to come down from the temple into the world. That is, from God consciousness, the consciousness of the Trinity, into the objective consciousness of the world. So it is called the threefold world. And when the fourth point, that is the objective existence, is located, then you have the figure of four sides when the creation of Brahma is completed. That is why the triangle becomes a four-sided figure when there is a point of objectivity, and then there is the four stages of creation. So this is the triangle before the four stages. It is only the fourth stage that comes out as the seven planes of existence. This is about this mantra. We have applied two keys. One is the etymological key, because the word bhu means the germination of a seed into a plant. That is what we call creation, from the seed to the tree of creation. Bhuva, the word bhuvaha means a plane of existence, and the word swaha means merging. That is the lower consciousness merging in the higher consciousness. For example, when you are singing music, if your mind disappears in your music, then you are said to be in the plane of swaha, because the music is existing and you are not existing. That is how the worlds go into dissolution. So we have applied the etymological key, and we have applied the fifth key, that is how to utter them. And then we have to apply it to the astrological key. When you understand the whole figure has 3 into 9 equal divisions, that is the 27 equal arcs. Like this, you have to go on applying the 6 keys. So we have applied 3 keys very roughly. For the present it is enough. Tomorrow we go into Gayatri. Yes, but here we are concerned only with DK's meaning of ego. That is Buddhistic tradition.
Yes.
So we have the physical, astral, mental, buddhic, nirvanic, paranirvanic, mahaparanirvanic. This is the Buddhistic division. That is the division given by the Jwalkol. Above this, we have the Trinity, which we have discussed just now. And above this, the egg. So this is how Blavatsky gave us. Beyond this, it is called the God that can never be speculated, about whom no one can think, including the Devas and the Logos of the solar system and the Dhyanis and the Buddhas who meditate for millions of years for the bringing forth of the egg and the triangle. Even they themselves cannot bestow a thought about the God who is above. So this is the scheme given to us. Now, do you tell me where the ego exists? On which plane?
4.
Between 3 and 4, ego exists. No doubt. The mental plane is divided into 7 subplanes, and the second and third subplanes include our ego. In some schools, it is called causal body. Yes. And do you know where the permanent atom exists? Where?
In each level.
In which plane of an indweller of a microcosm? So there are 2 paths. The same scheme exists to each of us. The same scheme of evolution exists to each planet. So every one of us, we are having the same ladder ascending. Our Earth planet also is having its own same ladder, which should be better known by Rudolph. Because it belongs to the planetary synthesis. And our solar system also has its 7, the same ladder of evolution. The cosmic egg, which produces millions and millions of solar systems, has the same ladder to come down. So, as Jalkul says, it is a kaleidoscope. If you take it as your own case, then you will locate the ego between the 3rd and the 4th planes, or more exactly between the 2nd and 3rd subplanes of the 3rd main plane. But if you take the descent, you will find it above. Now, when the worlds are descending in their order, in the planetary evolution, you will find it between the Buddhic and the Nirvanic. Yes, it is called the spiritual triad. And in the solar evolution, you will find it between the 5th and the 6th. And in the cosmic evolution, it will be between the 6th and the 7th. It is not confusing if you remember one aspect. Remember 7 subplanes in each plane. For example, the physical plane. Similarly, we have 7 subplanes in the astral. We have another interluding plane having the lowest as the 6th subplane of our physical plane. The 7th subplane going into the lowest subplane of the 2nd plane.
I think
The 7th subplane of this kingdom exists in the lowest subplane of the 2nd kingdom, that is astral kingdom. For example, our space is air to another above beings. Our air is space to another group of beings. Similarly, our solid is the space of some beings. The beings of that plane are traveling through us even though we are sitting here. Because our physical matter is not their physical matter. Our physical matter is their space and air. So, opposite to the ladder given to us, there are 7 to the power of x ladders, eternally created and destroyed. So, the creation never exists in the ladder. The creation will be ascending and descending, whereas the ladder is eternal. So, you will find a corresponding shifts of the ego differing at every stage on the passage of ascent and descent. If you take the evolution of consciousness into consideration, the next evolution of the human being will be to shift the ego consciousness, that is the causal body, into the next plane of consciousness. That's why when we are speaking of the evolution, we mark the ego or causal body on the fifth plane. But when we are studying the descent of a solar system or the spiritual constitution of a human being, it is in the third main plane. That is why in the symbolic representation, three spirals are described to Kundalini before it raises its head. That means your Kundalini raises its head between 3 and 4. It is only a symbolic representation. This is Atma. This is Atma. This is monad. This is called
Also for me,
the
what you
Daivata or the
mentioned
Loka.
in practice.
Yes, that is how
Also,
it is in the ladder. But when our evolution takes place, the ego will be shifted towards Atma, and Atma will be shifted towards the monad. Whereas where the individual soul has no existence except the soul of the solar system. Physical body and vehicles will exist as the body of the solar consciousness. That is what happens when the Atma is shifted towards the monad. And further there will be no shifting because there is not much difference between monad and logos. It is only an outline that makes the differentiation. But here the ego will be definitely shifted towards the Atma when you are in the discipleship. That takes place in the third initiation.
Dissolution.
Yes, the dissolution starts there and completes when it ascends into the fifth plane. Yes, that is the individual pralaya. Yes, if we practice it mentally without uttering oral, the danger definitely exists. And if we utter it where there are people with evil vibrations, the evil vibrations will be attracted towards it. This takes place in the earliest stages of our practice until your faith is established in the God in your own heart. So you should be careful in the early stage because we are not very sure if what we call faith is really faith or not. That is one danger. And the third is when we retain the respiration in the name of Kumbhaka and then utter Om vocally, then the finer vehicles will be greatly endangered because the energy centers receive a great tension from the physical vehicle. The filaments between the physical and the mental vehicles, they exist in the form of our desires, our aspirations and our ideals. This is what we call the astral plane. So the danger exists in the astral body. Our desires will be galvanized with every utterance of Om. If we practice Kumbhaka and then utter Om, okay, gradually we will grow into demons of our desires.
Demons, Teufel.
Yes, because our desires become stronger and stronger, and the spiritual attempt that we are focusing towards the higher center will be diverted to the lower center, that is the desire center. So after a certain time, about 15 or 20 years of, we will go into beastly, grosser emotions. Sometimes our ideals may be very high. We commit cruel deeds to achieve our ideals. So this is what happens when the filaments between the physical and the mental are crushed by the desires. Because of the vital pressure we give with the respiration kept as Kumbhaka. In such cases, the utterance of Om directly vitalizes the desires, and gradually it is the lower vehicles that suffer the consequence. So the nervous system may be rendered unfit for life, or in some cases the mind is distorted away from the brain cells when it is a case of lifelong insanity, because the indweller cuts off the intentions from the mental plane. The motives are cut off from the mental plane by giving a total distortion in the form of insanity to protect from further endangering of the higher planes, so that he waits until that body is dropped and begins his upward journey in the next body.
Leben.
These are the possibilities. You had the lesson of the first Yesterday. We'll go into the study of the Gayatri mantra. This is the mantra. Give the spellings also.
Yeah.
The word Sanskrit tat means English that. Savitur means deliverer.
So,
In two meanings. There are two meanings.
Skip.
Here it is applied in the two meanings because the mantram is addressed to the sun god whom we call the solar logos. Through the solar logos it invokes the cosmic person. So here the word delivery is used in two senses. One is giving birth to. Giving birth to.
Kaput.
Yes.
Birth.
The second is to remove the bondages. In the second sense, delivery means liberation. It is what is called deliverance. So the Lord is addressed both as the creator and the liberator. That is what the word Savitur means. It comes from the root Su in Sanskrit, which means the mother giving birth to a child, and also to liberate from a narrow existence into a broader existence.